Welcome back to Church Street Park here on a Labor Day Monday in this matchup between the Atlanta Fire and the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Before we bring you any sort of updates about the middle, let's go and take a look at that toss. What happened with the two captains out there?
Toss time here for the final time at Church Street Park this weekend, and happy Labor Day to you all. Stephen Taylor of the Atlanta Fire with the American flag coin in his hand. We've got Ronak Sharma of the Fort Lauderdale Lions and Rahul Patwardhan, our third umpire for the day. Stephen, you've got the flag coin. Give it a flip. Tails. The call is a tails. It's coming down to heads. So, Stephen, you've won the toss yet again. What do you like to do and why?
We have left ball first. Morning game, a little moisture in it. It looks a little dry on the top, but we know there's moisture underneath.
You guys in the power play have been sensational. You yourself have been spectacular. What has been the secret behind it?
Training hard, brother. That's it.
Well, there you go. It's working for you. Finally, any changes in the 11 today?
Yes. We have two changes. Parth Patel comes back in, and Pranto makes his debut. Vinu and Aryan misses out.
Well, good luck today, Stephen. Ronak, tough luck. Didn't win the toss. Had you won it, what did you want to do and why?
Yeah, we're looking to bat first only. Looks like a good wicket. So we'd probably want to bat first, and again, we want to put runs on the board and try and defend it.
Yeah, with your total yesterday, wouldn't have been too pleased with that. What are the keys to get back onto the right side with the bat?
A little bit more intent. I mean, again, we are a young team. We have quite a few youngsters and playing against good quality players here. So again, it's a challenge for them that they're facing for the first time. But, just showing a little bit of belief and a little bit more intent in the batting is what we're looking for.
And then finally, any changes in your 11 today?
Oh yes, we have quite a few changes. We have around 3 or 4 forced changes because a couple of them are injured, a couple of them are sick. So we have Hari, Arnab coming in, and we have Shubh and Govind stepping out.
There you go. So good luck. And you heard it there. First ball underway here. It is the Atlanta Fire with the ball in hand. And Janoy Drysdale's opening along for this Fire team. And Nate, no surprise that the Fire wanted to get a ball first, given the sense that they just feel that they could utilize their bowling and then make it quick do chasing. They've done it yesterday in emphatic fashion.
They're an aggressive team and they have domination on their mind.
First runs courtesy of an extra. The one thing to note, we're back on a different wicket. We started Thursday on this wicket, played it on Friday, threw 2 games Saturday, then made the switch on the Saturday evening game, made the pitch over to the left. You see the marking just there, the left of your screen. Played Saturday evening, then Sunday morning, Sunday evening there, and now we're back to where we started the weekend. So a tired wicket, Nate. It's an older wicket that's on display now.
And we'll see what that means as far as movement off the surface.
Away. Just beats that man at short third to pick up 4 runs, Ram Prasad.
See, mixed stuff this weekend from Ram Prasad. He had a tremendous game against Morrisville. He got a half century, but his wicket ended up being the curse for the team as they failed in a super over. They were gliding along. They would have definitely won that game had he just stuck around in a couple more overs. Yesterday, his day wasn't nearly as long.
And we'll try to correct that, won't he? Because, again, he feels like the key in a lineup that's just so short for Fort Lauderdale. He'll have a new opening partner today. Oh, that's lovely, elegant, and innovative from Ram Prasad.
He's off to a great start right now. We've got 9 runs from the first 3 balls, thanks to a wide and 2 of these.
So good with width, isn't he? And so good on the back foot. It's not even that wide, really, from Drysdale. He's slightly missed on the line. But Ram Prasad, he's just so compulsive on the back foot that he can just take advantage.
Uses his size well. He's not a big guy, and he creates that width pretty easily by getting his body into good angles. You could see him there just manipulate that, just late shot, whipping it up, uppercutting it.
So since that third fielder is in the deep, and they've added a deep backward square, so trying to just take away that angle. And I like this as well from Drysdale. Again, Rampersad's so good with width. You want the ball to continue to come back into him. And he's elected now to come back over the wicket. I think that if you're going to bowl to Rampersad, you want to be around.
You do have the deep square leg fielder. You got your typical Atlanta Fire slip in place. And the best to do it around the country, Stephen Taylor.
Slashed and slashed brilliantly. What a start for Rampersad.
And that's 3 straight 4s for Rampersad. They're going to need this. They need to put runs on the board against this explosive Fire team. But you can see Rampersad is in flow right now already.
You just can't bowl there, can you? Again, he's so good with width and with his hands. You want the ball to continue to come back into Rampersad. You want to jam him for room.
And also full is a good length for him. He's clearly showing no problem with the shorter ball.
Already 13 runs from a Janoy Drysdale over. Yeah, there it is. You mentioned also the length there. Fuller in length. And again, the threat to the ball coming back into him forces Rampersad into a much more defensive position.
Final ball of the over. Janoy's going to want to wrap it up in a tidy way, considering 13 already on the board. And you can hear the wind here at Church Street Park.
Hasn't quite got it out of the middle, but he's got it over the top. Pick up a couple more runs to close an expensive Drysdale over. Close of over number 1. Score moves to 15. Early decision for the captain, Stephen Taylor, to bring himself on to Arnab Mishra, who comes in to his first minor league game ever. The young man, and he's opening the batting against one of the USA's premier off-spinners. Oh, there you go. Good start, Stephen. Operating with the slip. Changes for both teams today, Nate. We heard from the Fort Lauderdale Lions that they've added a couple. Elton Tucker Jr. makes his way into the team. Mishra is another addition. Oh, this could be run out, and will be. It will be, and it will be the end of Mishra on debut. Goes for a duck.
Oh, well, that was really sloppy. We saw some bad decisions by Morrisville yesterday running, and this is probably the worst decision we've seen all weekend.
Intelligent for Mishra to say, you know what, I am going to run myself out and not try to get back. Again, he called yes and then late called no. Can't do it at this level. Goes without troubling the scores. It's 15 for 1.
We're seeing the replay here. Who's at fault for this?
Well, I think it's a mixed bag. I don't think there's a run there, but I think Rampersad's reacted to an initial call from Mishra. He's initially said yes, yes, and then late he's decided to say no. Rampersad, with all of his experience, knew if he's going to make that single, he's got to commit. And he was halfway down before the no was called. And at that point, there was no chance for anyone to get back in time. So, again, I think while there might have not been a run there, Mishra had to be clear from the outset, and that might have just been some of the pressure that would have been forced by Stephen Taylor. Ronak Sharma, the captain now. This is the important partnership for the Lions. It's where most of their runs are scored. Again, we saw Mohib Siddiqui with the bat, and Shanak Marate shows some promising signs, but these two seem to be the most promising bats of this Lion bunch.
Yeah, that's what it's proved to be this weekend, at least. Yeah, Mishra did a good job there, sacrificing himself after the mistake. A smart move for the team. Sometimes you have to take those.
We were mentioning the additions to the squad today. Hari Kiran Adiga, he's back into the team for the Fort Lauderdale Lions, maybe just to bolster that batting core a bit. For the Atlanta Fire, they've added a couple of folks themselves. Neville Hamilton will come in for the first time, and then Pranto Ahmed also making his debut. There was a movement from a fielder, and so you could hear them saying Bobby to call him off. This could be another run out. No, the quick running in the end. That communication much clearer, Nate.
Well, Mario got down there quick enough to take away the easy throw, forcing a longer throw on that. Yeah, he does commit, doesn't he?
Yeah, Parth Patel also back into the team today. So, again, a couple of changes for both teams as it is the last game of this weekend here in Church Street Park. It's been an absolutely brilliant weekend, to say the least. We've seen some ridiculous outings with the bat, Stephen Taylor amongst it, Monik Patel. Some unbelievable finishes. Talk about the super over. And the Fort Lauderdale Lions would be hoping not to come empty on this weekend. So important to get to a good start. And after a ridiculous first over, the second over, very tame. A run and a wicket. 2 overs gone, 16 for 1. Sonny Patel, 4 for 10 yesterday in his 4 overs. Oh, luck's out. Really should have been 4. That was a rank half tracker that's only resulted in 1.
You get that sometimes from the leggies. You get the half trackers every once in a while. Sometimes they turn out to be wickets. You're not really expecting it to be served up like that. That one only went for 1, but something's going to happen when you bowl a half tracker.
He'll prefer bowling to the right-handers. Again, that ball leaving Ronak Sharma, also new to the middle, so that's why that slip fielder's still in place. And on a tired wicket, you'd expect Sonny Patel to extract plenty of turn. Touch short to open his day, has he been, Nate?
Yeah, touch short. That one's a little bit better. Made up for it by zipping it through a little bit. Now, Sonny, we saw him play for the champions MI New York this year in Major League Cricket. Now, he's 38 years old, I believe. You think he did enough to keep in Major League next season? I thought he looked pretty good.
Nicely worked. Ronak Sharma so good off the back foot and plays it effortlessly through the offside.
And you can see here, Ronak going to the back foot. Just cutting it right through. Not a lot of movement from Ronak Sharma there with the feet, but he didn't have to do too much. As you mentioned, Sonny going a little bit too short so far.
Better length. Yeah, when you talk about Sonny Patel, has he done enough to get back into Major League next season? I think he has. I think you look at leg spinners across the country. Again, I don't think Sonny Patel is going to be vying for a spot in the national team, just given the spin contingent that's ahead of him. But in Major League Cricket, he was decently productive. Again, forced to play because no Rashid Khan. And in his 8 matches, takes 5 wickets. And the Kami rate, he was expensive, 9.18. But with the bat also provided.
To me, it was his bowling in Oakland. I felt like he did pretty well considering. Yeah. That is not a very big ground, especially to the square sides, square boundaries, and I felt like he was, pretty darn good there.
100% agree. And again, I think his leadership as well. He's someone who wants to help youngsters. And again, he just, I think, provides a lot of the intangibles you want around a group. A lot of players love having him around. Close of over number 3, 22 for 1. Steven Taylor continuing, and why not? Just the 1 run he gave up, and again, good for the Fire captain to get more overs in.
Great hustle.
Oh, nearly. Jamar Hamilton. Jamar Hamilton's always involved, isn't he?
Clapping him on right there. That was a great hustle from Steven Taylor on that. And I'll tell you what, I'm stoked to see Steven Taylor already with his second over in this innings. If he's going to keep securing a spot for himself in the national team, it's so important that he can bowl and that he expresses that. And we've seen nothing but good stuff from him at Church Street Park with the ball. I think that he needs to bowl more.
Yeah, I'd concur with you there, Nate. I think his greatest asset is his ability as an off spinner. We've seen Milind Kumar be so vital for the ODI side for the USA. Just short. And the reason it becomes so crucial for Steven Taylor is because he's a bat from the left, and you just don't see that a lot in American cricket. Hasn't played a T20I since February. Wasn't part of that North American Cup team. And for me, it's more so the ODI team he'd have a chance to be in. With that top order so full in T20s, the ODI middle order, that role, while it's dominated by Milind Kumar now, you could consider a left-hander somewhere in and around 5 and 6. Worked away. Oh, Janoy Drysdale with the best Uncle Stop we've seen all weekend.
You gotta love it. A lot of personality on this team. A lot of fun. Yeah, but Steven played in the USA T20 side as recently as February.
Nicely worked. In the gap and all the way. 4 runs for Ronak Sharma.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale 24 for 1 with 1 ball left in the 4th over. You think they might want a few more runs on the board. They're going to need it against this team, but that boundary there, that's only 7 runs off of Steven Taylor in his first 11 balls. Or sorry, his first 2 overs.
28 for 1 after the close of 4. And it's hard to imagine USA teams without Steven Taylor. And the reason for that is you go back to when he made his debut. Now, if you consider his official T20I debut, it would just be back in 2019, but that was when the team got status. His T20 debut for the USA, playing against an international opponent, was back in March 13th of 2012, out in Sharjah against Uganda. So, again, this is over a decade plus where he's been a staple on the USA team.
Yeah, he's already a USA legend. There's plenty more left in the tank.
Hey, you know, you were the one who made that video about the Bart King Award year 1, and you narrated it talking about what Bart King and who he was and what that award means. Stephen Taylor would be right up there amongst his name as maybe the best domestic talent and product that we've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. And in our lifetimes, Stephen Taylor's been the best American cricketer. Yeah, he's been, you know, this generation's Bart King for sure.
Wow. In a frame of mind today is Mario Ramprasad.
He's taking on Sunny Patel. He knows they need more runs. He's going to maximize every chance that he's on strike.
Any bit of width he'll cash in on. So again, you need that ball to continue to come back into him. Little adjustment in the field. They've got rid of that cover fielder, brought him inside the ring. Sunny Patel is pushed back long off. I actually prefer that with the mid-wicket fielder in place. Dare Ramprasad to continue to get in to out. Look at Jamar Hamilton, Nate. Look at Jamar Hamilton there.
So animated. So many personalities on this team. You saw Sunny Patel earlier come through his bowling motion. They called time, and he just kind of like pretended to keep bowling halfway down the wicket.
Impressive start here for the Lions, you'd have to say. They've had some really poor displays with the bat and some lackluster displays. And you think about what they did against the Lightning just 24 hours ago. They didn't look anywhere close to this. They had 25 runs in the power play, lost 2 wickets. And we heard from Ronak Sharma, the captain, at the toss. He said, we need to just show a little bit more intent with the bat. That's the big key that we want to take away from our first 2 matches.
Yeah, they absolutely do need that. You got to get that down, the intent.
Mm-hmm. And I think they've shown it, right? And again, for them, it's not going to be about mustering 8 to 10 runs and over. It's about, can you get from 5 to 7 versus the 3s that they've been accustomed to getting. And they've shown it so far. Even with 2 dots to close over number 5, it's still 33 for 1.
Stephen Taylor continues. And Mario pops that one over mid-off. That's 4 runs.
He's looked so good today. Mario Ramprasad is taking advantage of anything slightly overpitched and anything with a bit too much width. It's not even that wide. It's just he's been given the license, given the field. Again, this is the field most teams have set for Stephen Taylor. Long on, mid-wicket. For Ramprasad, who prefers width, I think you've got to give yourself the long off fielder.
And that ball's intentional from Stephen Taylor. You see how Ramprasad has to reach for that. If he misses that in any way, if it turns a little more than he thinks, the slip's right there for that.
And that's why, for me, I would much prefer Ramprasad to play over long on for that delivery. And that's why long on has come inside the ring. Let him play across the line of the ball spinning away.
And there's a scamper for 1 there. Mario just so quick out of his crease.
And again, that's tremendous adjustment from the Fire as well, because now you've taken away that scoring option. So on a ball that's slightly shorter but on the same line, Ramprasad's intent was just to try to scamper 1 rather than go to hit the boundary. Now for Prasad, it's great maturity to just say, we've got the boundary, now there's 5, and we've started the over brilliantly. But again, this is the chess battle that you have to play.
Mario's so quick to the dangerous end. That one's helped over the circle for 4 behind square.
So comfortable against spin. Ronak Sharma. He prefers that ball to be spinning, and again, he's able to just maneuver the ball in unique areas and got there very quickly. And it wasn't even that length of sweep, wasn't it? He just made that very safe.
And no slip in play right now, so a little bit less dangerous to take that shot. This time he goes with it. He goes with the ball and slaps it over, and it's going to roll a couple of bounces to the boundary.
My, oh my. These are not the Fort Lauderdale Lions of 24 hours ago. They've shown that intent that Ronak Sharma was talking about, and they've really bamboozled this opening display for the Atlanta Fire.
Well, you see Stephen Taylor going a little wider there, seeing how Sharma played the last shot. Sharma did the wise thing and just stepped to it, popped it over extra cover. It's a nice little chess match happening here. Plays that one again into the covers. This weekend, the best 2 batters we've seen, Prasad and Sharma, and today they're batting together. I think they want this partnership to go a long ways. Fort Lauderdale absolutely needs that to happen. Hani hits this one off the hip to mid-wicket. Just a single.
Close of over 6, 47 for 1.
Azim Charania, we've seen a lot of him so far from the Atlanta Fire, and he's done quite well.
Yeah, he made his debut, or made his return to minor league cricket yesterday. Didn't play since the inaugural season in 2021, but was quite brilliant with the ball and very crucial in that bowling display.
And he's going to start off with a wide. We just talked him up, so of course.
Yeah, but we mentioned what he did yesterday. 4 overs, 13 runs, 2 wickets to his name with 15 dot balls.
A lot of width there. You see the ball turning away quite a bit.
It's also a bit of extra bounce. He's got that high arm action and looks to really rip it through. So you're not given the time to rock on the back foot and place the ball. So it's a slight adjustment from the spin the Lions have seen so far.
Helped over to third man. Get to see Jamar express himself once again. I'm telling you, man, every play he's involved, he's doing something.
And he's added some drama to that as well. You know, he's turned around, he's almost opened the lightsaber, opened a sword up the way he's hit off stump. Quite brilliant. And now this is where you begin to test the Lions. Now you've created 2 dot balls and a bit of pressure. How does Sharma answer?
Another attempt through behind point. Doesn't make it. The field's looking really good today for the Fire.
Yeah, bowling to a plan. He's got a packed region behind point. 2 men right there staggered.
This one gets through, but there's a boundary fielder there, so it's just going to go for 1.
Yeah, slightly ahead of point. That's what's allowed for that single. I was just getting ready to say, I would have thought maybe Stephen Taylor would have brought himself out of cover and just pushed him more towards cover point. And You say, okay, try to hit me now through that region. Give yourself just a couple of extra fielders in that area, but still prompting with 2 behind point for the left-hander.
And there's no run there. Yeah, you see the two outside the circle here, or well, there are more than 2. There are 5 outside the circle. We've got 2 on the square boundaries. We have 1 at mid-wicket, 1 at long on, 1 at long off. And this gives the bowler a lot of options. And that's the end of the over. 49 for 1. Ansh Patel takes the ball now from the shallow end. Whipped over to the leg side.
Yeah, it's a change of ends for Ansh. He bowled predominantly from the Cedar Fork end of the ground yesterday. And I think it's a smart move as the 50s come on the board to get Ansh Patel in now. Why? Well, we just saw a real quiet over from Azim Charania. Maybe this is just going to tempt the hand of Mario Ramprasad or Ronak Sharma to force them to find the boundary.
We've seen good stuff from Ansh. We've seen great stuff from the spinners of the Fire this weekend. Really dragging down the run rate. We see a lot of spin in these overs. There's no reason to change that. Flighted up. Fielders give chase. It looks like 2. And the throw is sailed over Jamar, whipped back in.
Yeah, again, I think for the Lions now, you have to understand where your scoring regions are, and I think this is a smart bit of cricket here. Just picking your gaps. Find 2s, find singles, no need to force the boundaries. Keep your wickets in hand.
Mario pushes this one. No run to get.
And the reason I say that is because you look back to that Morsel Raptors game, the Raptors were out of it until Ramprasad threw his wicket away, really. And then that game turned on its head. So for me, you just have to keep your wickets in hand. You're okay going at 4s and 5s as long as you can get to 4s and 5s, because it gives you the platform to accelerate later and not expose the lack of depth up your sleeve.
And Ansh has found a length that Mario does not like. And he skitters down the ground. Fielders will give chase, but this rolls over the rope for 4.
Something had to give, and Ramprasad's so quick with his feet that he's just able to get himself to the pitch of the ball. And from there, he's able to play that favorite inside-out shot over extra cover and bisect the fielders perfectly. This is a brilliantly mapped-out innings from the lefty.
1 ball to go. This one just edged, and it's going to be a dot to end the over. 56 for 1. Charania continues, only 2 from his first over, and one of them was a wide.
Yeah, he was exceptional. He just created problems for Ronak Sharma behind point. Field hasn't changed, however.
Goes wider there. Stopped at point.
And again, I would almost just consider, if I'm Steven Taylor, just to move from cover and get to cover point. Dare Sharma to go in front of square.
This one played to third. It's going to be close. Mario made his ground there.
Yeah, very quick between the wickets, Mario Prasad. It's a staple of his game. It's why he becomes so versatile and lethal.
He goes very early to the danger end where the throw's closer. He knows that's on him, and he gets there in a hurry.
Important also not to let the dots pile up to start the over. Takes a bit of the pressure off.
And a lot of space over there for Mario to play an easy single.
He's so good with his feet, Nate. You see Ramprasad get himself into great positions. He's really almost triggered off the back foot across his stumps to then be able to maneuver that ball to the onside. It wasn't a very straight delivery. It was outside the off stump that he's taking it off of, but he understands his scoring zones and he understands the positions he needs to be in to take advantage of it.
Very happy to see him batting in a position where he has to take on so much of the scoring responsibility. It's not always the case for him. Skied up. This might be a catch. And it's taken right at the rope.
Sunny Patel, safe as houses, out on the boundary. And you just felt that Charania was starting to frustrate Ronak Sharma, so he just tossed the carrot out. Pitched one up for the very first time, and Sharma's eyes lit up. Looks to go down the ground, just slices it, and really had nearly enough. But Sunny Patel, so good, positions himself beautifully, and never a question. A huge wicket as the skipper has to depart. He goes for 22. It's 58 for 2.
Hari Kiran Adiga coming into the middle for Fort Lauderdale. We had mentioned that we really needed that, or Fort Lauderdale really needed that partnership to last for them to put up a decent score. They don't look like a very deep batting team. Now a lot more is on the shoulders of Mario Ramprasad.
Yeah, no question about it. Again, Hari back into the team. A couple of injuries, but he also does lengthen that batting lineup a touch. Now, he isn't someone who's played a lot of minor league cricket, only his second ever minor league cricket match, but again, locally, he's got some runs behind him. That's why he's here. That's why he's been given the opportunity to bat at number 3. The job for me is not to go and find boundaries if I'm Hari Kiran. It's how can I just continuously feed strike to Mario Ramprasad and let him continuously keep the runs flowing. Again, it's 5 to 7 and over is what you need to go at until the 15th if you're Fort Lauderdale.
And you see Hari looking around, seeing what his options are. Definitely aware of his role. He pushes this. It's going to be an easy single.
Like you said, very aware of his role, Hari. Gets in, gets off the mark, gets off strike straight away. You don't want to keep Ramprasad at the non-strikers in for very long. It just lets the fire off the hook, not having to bowl to the lefty keeper.
And 1 to go from Charania in this 9th over. Ramprasad on strike. Helped over to point. That's too easy. No one's going to go on that. And it ends on a dot ball. 59 for 2. And Unch continues. Flighted, just misses the edge there. Vadiga, that is a nightmare ball right there.
Unch, so good, so lethal. Economy rate under 5 for his minor league career, and there's a reason as to why. He just doesn't give up runs, and we saw what he did against the Morsel Raptors. Again, his figures: 14 runs, 3 wickets, and somehow wasn't the pick of the bowlers. It just spoke about the quality.
Oh, and that's a wide down the leg, and it's going to run. Fielder gives chase here, but it's going all the way, and it's buys.
Yeah, touch the commentator's curse. Wide, goes down the leg side and spins past the gloves of Jamar Hamilton. Unch knows it, can't bowl there, can't do that. But if you're the batters, you sit there and say, well, that's ripped off the wicket, so maybe could just incite some fear.
Well, Unch was getting really good results from staying away from Adiga. Popped over Adiga's head. No 2 on offer. It's just going to be 1. That's going to get Mario on strike. Mario definitely just wanted to be on strike there, jogging down towards the wicketkeeper.
Yeah, and important again to just continue to maneuver runs around. You've been gifted 5, and now you get 6 in the over. Prasad's got a license, but he also can sit there and just play the over out now. There's no pressure to put on extra runs.
Missed there. Got some height on it, that bounce.
Again, Patel, he's not a tall individual, but he gets great revs, and that allows the ball to dip, grip, turn, and then extract the bounce off this surface. And again, a tired surface that will aid the bowlers.
Slapped over. It's just going to be 1, and Mario's going to keep strike. Oh, sorry. There's 1 more ball to go.
And I think that tired wicket is something to think about for the Atlanta Fire as well. Now, while they've been at their swinging best, it's been a lineup that hasn't been exposed thanks to the likes of Steven Taylor and Sagar Patel. And now you're on a wicket that could just play a few more tricks in the second innings.
And there's 1 there to end the over. 67 with a loss of 2. Fort Lauderdale needs to put a move on it.
That'll take us to a quick break here in Church Street Park. 10 overs gone, 67 for 2. Fort Lauderdale showing some great fight in this final clash of Labor Day weekend. Join us in a bit when we return.
And after the drinks break, Charania is going to stay in. The attack.
Important to see what happens post this drinks break, and you say that because of the fact that you look at the Lions. They're in a great position to put themselves into a 130, 140 spot, but they've got to be able to considerably hold their wickets in hand, and they've got to be very mindful of the way they go about their innings here. Charania bowls his third.
A lot of width there.
Oh, given wide. Oh, that's tight. That's very tight. I might think that might be a bit harsh there, Mr. Umpire. Probably the right call, but very tight to that blue line. Nate, this wicket seemingly is starting to really turn and could be a real problem for the Fire later.
Oh yeah, we've seen a lot of turn all weekend, but today it looks like it's turning the most.
And again, that can just mean, okay, instead of needing 150, 160 to be a reasonable total, that could come down to 140. Maybe if it's a 170 reasonable total, it goes down to 150. And if you bowl exceptionally well, it can be 140. So all these things the Lions would need to be keeping in mind. Quick single. Nicely done.
Yeah, they got to keep all that in mind. We talked about that wide +4, so the 5-run wide in the last over. Boy, did that take so much pressure off, because you haven't had a boundary since the 8th over otherwise.
Just away. Nearly an opportunity for Charania to cash in on a second wicket.
Would have been a tough one, but great effort from Charania.
And to the Fire credit, they've really bogged down Ram Prasad. They haven't allowed him to get away. After the start he got off to, you would have thought he could really be in a Stephen Taylor, Monak Patel type of flow, but they've restricted his results dramatically.
Yeah, he managed 14 off the bat in the very first over, including 3 fours.
This could be out. Could be out. Wow. Wow, it's not out, but look at the glove work here. Look at this, Nate. Look at the nonchalance of Jamar Hamilton. He's not only taken the bails off, but he's ready to throw it to the non-strikers end. Close of 11, 73 for 2.
My goodness, Jamar Hamilton's so much fun to watch. Come on, I really do believe he's the best keeper in the Americas, Caribbean included.
You wouldn't be alone in that thought. He does play some domestic cricket out there, down in the Caribbean, and they love what he brings. There's many surprise he hasn't cracked the West Indies setup in that national team yet, but means he's a domestic for us. As Parth Patel, the young man, American-born with his first year in the red and black, comes into the attack. Back into the team today, Nate, and Stephen Taylor's giving him the ball.
Once again, another player I'm happy to have in the South, in Parth Patel. He's showed a lot of promise. Young player from the St. Louis area.
Oh, no, well done. Really nicely played from Mario Ramprasad. Picked the gap to perfection.
first 4-run boundary, or any boundary of any sort, since the 5th ball of the 8th over. Gonna need more of them. You can see Mario, like I said, giving him space. It's so good at giving himself space.
It's not a bad ball from Parth Patel, but it's something that could affect his confidence quite a bit, isn't it? Just because of the fact that he went for 37 through 3 overs against the Galaxy.
And we had a dot ball there. Nothing.
Better. Good recovery from Patel. Again, confidence so key for young cricketers, and you don't want to see them start to falter if you're the Fire early on in the season. Finds a fielder in the gap, and they come back for 2. Nicely run as well. Nate, we'll talk more about this as the day goes on, but there's plenty of young cricketers that we've seen on display here. And for the Fire, there's one in particular we haven't seen on display this season that is rather surprising just given his record. Again, I'll ask you more about it in the next over. Final delivery of over 12. And a dot ball to close, 80 for 2. Sunny Patel back into the attack. Nate, the man I'm speaking of is Rishi Pandey. He's in the squad, and typically throughout the Fire's campaign, he's been a regular member of the 11. And this year, and this opening weekend, he's not. Why do you think that's the case, and do you think they could benefit from adding a Rishi Pandey in?
Oh, I think so. I definitely think so. He was good enough to open with Rakeem Cornwall in the past. You got to think he's only gotten better and better. He somehow missed out on that U19 squad a couple years back, which we thought he should be a shoo-in for.
Just evades the off pole. Just evades the off pole. Brilliant. Yeah, and again, I think with Rishi Pandey, again, people would say, oh, his versatility isn't there, but Viraj Vaghela's batting at number 3. You would reckon that Pandey can bat in a 3 or 4 role for this Fire setup.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Vaghela in at the number 3 spot.
And then you even look at Parth Patel. Now, he's been batting a little bit lower down the order, and you feel as if he's in because of his off spin. Pandey does give you a leg spinning option. He's not someone who's known as a leg spinner, but has that ability to take the ball away.
Another dot here as Sunny Patel builds the pressure. But yeah, I agree with you. You know, it's been surprising to see some of the omissions all across the South for the youth. It's almost like, you know, one of the challenges is after you're 21, what happens? And we haven't seen Rohan Fudke. We haven't seen Abraham Bolasetti. And that's really harsh.
Out. Could be out. Should be out. Won't be out. And you could see the frustration from Sunny Patel. Was there bat? Was there bat involved? Says leg buys. Says leg by, so it means the umpires reckon that this is missing.
Well, let's take a look, Aman, because it looked good in real time. Where did that miss, Aman? I guess the assumption is it's going down leg, but
That's the leg spinner. You can see from the seam position of that ball that that delivery is going to cut away from the right-hander. And on this wicket, it has plenty of turn on it. And you can see Steven Taylor there. He's asking for what's happened. Where's that missed? And Jamar Hamilton didn't seem to like the answer.
If the wicket wasn't turning as much as it is, it's still a borderline. I'm still thinking it's 60-40 LBW.
Frustration for Sunny Patel as he kicks the turf. And a cry as well. Close of 13, 82 for 2. Still animated is Sunny Patel. Usually such a calm, cool figure. We'll have words to say, but right now he's absolutely furious, and I can't say I blame him, Nate. Again, there's no chance that delivery was going to bounce over the top of the stumps. It's hit him on the front foot, really right on the crease line, and it feels like it's hit close to middle, maybe middle leg. Again, we had a slightly obstructed view, but man, oh man, it'd be very tough to see where that's missed.
Well, vent your frustrations now, but get back in because you got another over left.
And for Parth Patel, this is great opportunities to learn and utilize the pressure from Sunny Patel. Can really cash in off a wicket with Huddy. Maybe just feeling a bit of that luck, a bit of the pressure of should have been LBW, could have been an LBW victim. Calls for 2. And great work from Parth Patel. Great commitment from the off spinner. And then Steven Taylor as well to run all the way and be the man stationed at the non-strikers. And this Fire team seems to be firing at all cylinders, Nate.
Well, they certainly are. And Adiga has gotten himself in a little bit of a hole. 7 from 16, just absorbing dot balls. Puts a lot on Prasad's shoulders.
Oh, needed a direct hit. And that throw could cost him a lot more. Just the one. And I don't think the Fire will mind it. But the backup was just probably a bit too close for the fiery throw of Patel.
Yeah, but the overthrow there is going to keep Prasad in the crease, which is not what you want.
Me doing that, I think that's more important.
And escapes just one. Patel's been bowling brilliantly. Again, this is such an important match for his confidence, and you'd have to say it would feel pretty good after this performance.
Oh, no doubt. Good start to the innings for Parth. We'll see if he gets more overs after this.
Taken. There's his wicket. Deserved it, and Adiga had just been in a spot of bother. And Paul Palmer collects it graciously. Third one down for the Lions.
Well, Paul Palmer's got some safe hands. Parth Patel deserves a wicket today. Just doesn't get enough to get it over the top.
Smiles all around for the Fire. The missed LBW doesn't cost him too much. 87 for 3 here in the 14th. Well-deserved wicket for Parth Patel. Again, will just help his confidence as he continues to churn through the gears as a young cricketer. His 10th wicket in his minor league career. Again, he's played for three teams now. St. Louis Americans, then the Orlando Galaxy. And since attending college in the state of Georgia, he's now able to play for the Atlanta Fire. And Siddiqui's day begins with a dot ball. 1 and over from Parth Patel. 87 for 3 still. Stephen Taylor back for his 4th. And he sees 2 left-handers, and that's why he's licking his lips. We could have seen Sunny Patel, but Taylor just wants to get an over of off spin whilst he has 2 men that he can take the ball away from. And still with the wind, he's able to access some drift on the ball. And to me, this is the matchup with Siddiqui, who is very much an aggressive striker. He likes to throw his hands hard, Nate.
Yeah, you can see Steven jumping on the opportunity to face 2 lefties. An important part of the innings just before the death. It gives the question for Fort Lauderdale, do we really want to start going big now or wait till the next over? It puts the question in their head for sure.
Slip in place. That's Sunny Patel. Gone. Walks straight past it. It's a Monday, and he's gone for a Monday walk, and Stephen Taylor's taken a Monday leap into the wicket column. 88 for 4.
Great stuff from Stephen Taylor. Already a productive outing with a wicket heading into this. But, yeah, that's too easy for Jamar Hamilton. He's never going to miss that. He's going to hold the pose.
Hold the pose, indeed. Stephen Taylor, the captain, cashes in with his first wicket on the second wicket on the season, first wicket in the game, and Siddiqui goes without troubling the scorers, still 88 for 4.
And Shanak Marate has shown some glimpses this weekend. He can definitely bat. He'll join Mario Rampersad in the middle.
Marate again was brilliant against the Raptors in their opening clash. Picked up 20-odd and showed his ability to hit shots all across the ground. Just unable to access the big boundary. And that's going to be his role at this point in the innings, isn't it? And they get through maybe Stephen Taylor's over with 4 or 5 and support Rampersad in their pursuit of a 120, of a 130 if they can. Definitely have to cross that 100 mark. We've seen the power plays the Fire have enacted.
Yeah, 4 down at this point with 88. There's a lot of runs needed to get. And it's not the deepest batting team. So 4 wickets isn't as optimistic as it looks.
Strong start from Taylor to the right-hander. There is no Wesley Jackson in the side today. Vinit Tagarse's come in for today's matchup. You still have Nehal Kadakdan and then Elton Tucker Jr. What can he do with the bat? But it's a little smaller order. Oh, that's just gone past Slip. That's just gone past Sunny Patel. Another crack at the left-handed Rampersad, and you feel, Nate, if this wicket were to fall on the final delivery of Taylor's day, it might just be the end for Fort Lauderdale.
And once again, Mario Rampersad filling huge shoes on this team.
paddled away. A real gift from Stephen Taylor, and a big boundary that to close, and a 50 for Mario Prasad. He deserves one. He's played absolutely brilliantly, and remarkably just his 4th in his minor league career. Bat up.
Way to end the 15th over there for Mario Prasad. 2 half centuries this weekend here at Church Street Park. He really likes this place, but Stephen Taylor really let him off the hook with that.
The most informed batter for the Fort Lauderdale Lions straight throughout the weekend, and arguably their most important batter. And he's taken 44 deliveries to do it, but they'll take every ball that he faces. 15 gone, 93 for 4.
Amarate will take strike against Anj Patel. We've only seen 1 over of fast bowling so far.
What's remarkable, Nate, is there's still a slip here in the 16th over. Still operating with the fielder, that aggressive, hunting for wickets.
I asked the question yesterday, does anyone use a slip more than Stephen Taylor?
This was an issue we saw consistently from Murray Tyson yesterday against Anj Patel. That front foot consistently headed towards mid-wicket rather than to the line of the ball. A lot of googlies from Patel.
What a delivery, and there's an appeal. And he's been given out. He left his crease, he lifted his foot up, it looks like. And Jamar Hamilton will pounce on every chance.
Just undone by the googly yet again. Issue a ball ago was the front foot, this time the back foot. Just falls over, and right there you can see it clear as houses. Foot up, and Jamar Hamilton with the gloves. You got to get walking. And Marate goes for just 1, 93 for 5.
And this is the period of the innings where you want to see 4s and 6s and not stumpings. Here comes Nate Hall into the middle.
You don't want to see slip fielders, Nate. That's when you know as a side you haven't really shown the intent, or you don't have the batting that really worries the Fire. Now, the one thing about Nehal Kadakton, while he hasn't found the runs so far the weekend, on the couple of singles that he did hit away, you could see he's got a lot of power in the bat swing. But it's about connecting, and doing it to Anj Patel is so difficult, Nate, that the Fire said 1 slip isn't enough. We go with a traditional slip, and we're going to have a leg slip as well. So protecting both edges now, the Atlanta Fire.
Well, Stephen Taylor seems to really appreciate pressure, and the pressure is there, not just with the wicket here, but effectively 3 dots on the over. No runs yet. And we are into the 16th over. Fort Lauderdale has to put their foot down. Well, there's a shout, but it looks like it was going down the leg. Halvin is not going to call that one. And we have 4 dots now, effectively.
And here's have a second look. It's the googly. He stood on leg stump, and it hits him on an outside leg. So great decision. But again, he hasn't picked the googly. If you're Anj Patel, you get that off stump. It could be curtains very quickly for Nehal.
And he does just that, but it's fought out. It's kept out.
It was a touch too short, but again, hasn't picked it out of the hand at all. He was surprised by the ball coming back in. And I think if you just watch Anj Patel for one game, you know 95% of his deliveries are the googly. Anticipate for that.
And this one break goes the other way just after you say so. That's the end of the over. 93 for a loss of 5. That was a maiden over.
A wicket maiden nonetheless. 16 gone, 93 for 5.
And Sunny Patel comes in his final over of the day. Only 93 on the board. And that's played into empty space right there. It's just going to be 1. But I'm on now 94 on the board. How many runs did Atlanta score in the power play the other day?
It was 93 in the power play, so just 1 short of where the Lions are now. Yesterday, they scored 83 because they couldn't score anymore. There was a ball to spare in that as well. So this could be a very short game unless the Lions find something rather magical. And for Nehal Kadakdan, it's going to be firstly about picking it out of the hand. The setup was in place for Manj Patel. He went googly, 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 traditional leg break. Wouldn't be surprised to see Sunny Patel rip the googly early with the slip in place.
Oh, and it gets through. But safely, just a dot.
You got to read the hands here. You got to see where the fingers are. Anytime the fingers are in front, facing you, it means it is going to go the other way.
Oh! And he's out. Once again, Jamar Hamilton is not going to mess that one up. Out stumped. Nehal comes out of his crease at the wider, shorter delivery and doesn't get any of it.
Buy a lottery ticket, Sunny Patel. Just go buy one. You get a wicket off this ball. I see everyone's laughing. It's a genuine half-tracker that Nehal Kadakdan has somehow walked down on. That is unbelievable. And for Sunny Patel, who felt he should have had the LBW, he'll take that. It's 94 for 6 as Nehal walks off for a duck.
Rashesh Behera comes in with Sunny Patel needing 3 more, with only 3 more deliveries in hand, and we just saw him take a wicket with probably his worst ball of the whole weekend.
Maybe of a lifetime there, Nate.
Fended off just 1, and that'll bring on strike Mario Rampersad. Exactly what you want to do.
Nate, is it important to you for Rampersad to bat 20, or is it now he's got to find a boundary?
I think you need boundaries right here. You're the man in form. At this particular junction, you're setting the target, and you need a good target. You need a good total.
Look at where he was stood for that delivery. He placed himself on top of off stump. So that's where the back foot was. So he covered all 3 stumps there. So he's told Sunny Patel, I'm looking to hit you to the onside, and if you keep pushing it, I'm going to try to lift you. So that's why there's a packed region behind point. And I'm curious to see what Sunny Patel does here. Does he elect to pitch it up, or does he stay back of a length?
I just played the third man there. No run, and that's the over. 95 for 6.
Patel's day ends with just 13 runs he's conceded, a take a wicket, and he'll tie a shoe. Close at 17.
Well, Amon, typically 3 games in a weekend is going to put a lot on your fast bowlers. A lot of times guys take a break, miss a game. That's not really a risk here. I don't think we've put any pressure on the fast bowlers for Atlanta Fire. We've only seen 1 over of fast bowling so far this whole innings. We might not see another one.
Yeah, no Muddy Dirty in the side today, so you knew that the fast bowling was just a bit shorter. They could go and still give one to Janoy Drysdale, maybe even consider giving one to Pronto Ahmed.
Flighted there. That's going to get through for just 1.
But again, could easily say we go Ansh Patel here, can go Azim Chadane from the other end, and then finish with Parth Patel.
And you get more flight here again against Mario Ramprasad. You know he knows he's got to score. Do you flight one up to him and see what he does?
Just as long as there's no width on it. I think you want that fly to delivery on stumps.
I know they do go wide this time. And those run for 1. Mario wasn't sure if he wanted to take that. It was always there.
And again, I think for Mario, it's okay, do we value you being there for 20 overs? I don't know if I do. If he carries his bat through, the reason I say no is because of the fact that if it means he's not going to fire boundaries, it means you're going to just scamper your way to 110, maybe. Rather, you try to get a couple of boundaries away. Now, Nate, I guess the other argument for that would be, well, if you get out, you could see a lot of this dot ball after dot ball from the bats of numbers, 9, 10, 11.
Well, plan B is always you get more experience and your batters get more experience for the season. I think plan A has to be, look, Atlanta scored 93 in their power play the other day. We need more runs.
Atlanta would also be looking to do something quite special. Each of their first 2 games, they've bowled sides out. They did it against the Galaxy on the final delivery, and then they did it with 1 ball to spare, and then they did it to the Morsel Raptors yesterday.
Oh, that beats the bat, but foot stays down.
And could still be in play to do it today. I think it would be a nice feather in the cap for Stephen Taylor and his men, knowing that even at Church Street Park, arguably the best wicket in the South, their bowling crew is just as effective.
And once again, beating the bat. And that's the end of the over. 97 with a loss of 6. That was a really slow over. They need the opposite of that. Only 2 runs off of it. Ansh Patel wraps up his 4 over quota, 17 with a wicket. And Charania will continue his day. His final over, he's got figures of 11 runs for a wicket, and he'll take a bite at Ramprasad. And that's short enough for Ramprasad to guide, or to actually pull, but it's just 1 run.
Yeah, we saw where Ramprasad was set up again. He's set up right on off stump and outside of off stump, so he's looking to play you behind square on the onside. So they've set that fielder in place at deep back or square leg. For Rajesh Behera, I think it's an underrated weekend for him. He did get taken apart by Manan Patel, but he created an opportunity off of Manan Patel. I thought with the bat, he's actually shown some fight. I think for him, he's a very gritty character, and it's come through this weekend for this Lions team, and I think it's important to have someone with his kind of fight and bite at the end of an order and in your bowling attack.
See Jamar waving the fielder around more straight at the long off position. And a hack and a miss there as Behera tries to give himself space.
Slip back in place for Behera. And Behera doesn't seem to be too complacent about just blocking the ball around. He wants a boundary.
And do they do that all at once?
We're getting good bounce here with the wrist spinners.
That's too much.
When that one goes through, missing the slip fielder, and there'll be chase, and it won't go all the way. Runners are trying to maximize this, and that brings Mario Rumberside back on strike.
Yeah, it's given his bat, so it's come off the bat there. I thought maybe it would have been the gloves of Hamilton, but a genuine chance at first slip. It was just fine enough from Behera. I love to see the intensity from Jamar Hamilton. 100 just comes on the board in the 19th over, and he's still telling us, you got to be quicker. Got to show more fight there. And that's what set this Fire team apart. They just don't get complacent.
Oh, and that one's wide. Yeah, you're right. They don't get complacent. They have a good time. They enjoy themselves out there. But they expect a lot from this team, and you ought to expect a lot from this team. It's a very talented squad. If you want to place on this team, you better give your all. And Mario takes a whack at it. It's going to go for 4. This is exactly what Mario needs to do. We saw 3 of these in the first over. He's been a little bit quieter since, but he comes all the way across to access that. Charania goes even wider, but not wide enough. Risk reward there.
And even look at the setup now, outside the off stump.
Mario takes another hack, tries to do exactly the same thing this time, just goes to long off for 1.
Yeah, Charania much quicker through the air that time, just trying to keep Prasad at bay.
Last ball of the over. Behera on strike. Charania has been excellent today, all weekend really. It seems like the spin, they just don't run out of options on this team. Behera whacks it just over the fielders, and it runs away for 4. That's exactly what you need to end the over. 111 for 6.
Yeah, you don't mind it at all for the Lions. It doesn't matter if they look pretty. They just got to come those 4s. And they're starting to find them in a consistent interval. Again, Behera's shown great intent since entering, and will continue that intent throughout. 1 over to go here at 111 for 6.
Well, who do you go with for the 20th over?
I think they're going to go Parth Patel. I think they're going to try and go all spin here. They could easily send back Janoy Drysdale. They could look to another direction. But I reckon Parth Patel, with an over to spare, bowling some off spin, is going to be given the ball here to keep it and make it 5 spinners that have finished their quota.
Well, this is impressive. Just 1 over of fast bowling the entire innings. Fort Lauderdale hasn't done anything with all this spin. Only 111 runs on the board. Looks like they'll bat the full 20, barring any incredible disaster here or amazing over here. Actually, it looks like maybe they've changed their mind, and it looks like we're going to go with Janoy Drysdale.
Yeah, Patel had the hat off for a bit, but I think it's just because Behera and Prasad have just gotten a bit comfortable against spin, obviously having seen it for a very long period of time. I also think it's a great opportunity to continue to lift Drysdale's confidence. Again, while he's vastly experienced and he wouldn't shy away from the moment now because he just had 1 bad over, you still want to keep him in rhythm, keep him fresh. So give him one last chance to reset and go through a plan in the death.
And Juan, how important is understanding the context of this league, understanding what's going on in this league when we're talking about national positions? You know, if selectors are only seeing 1 over a game from Drysdale, they'll want to understand the context of that. That's just a single. But you want your national team players to get their overs in. You want the guys who are on the edge of team selection to get their overs in. how many times do we see strange numbers in the East, and people say, oh, this guy's absolutely fantastic, or why isn't this guy getting enough chances? And there's a lot of context to all of that. We've seen Yasser Muhammad not get his quota very often in the past in the East, because there's going to be low totals there, 60, 70, 80 runs, and you don't want to bring a leggy in a lot of those situations because they're maybe a little less accurate.
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been someone growing up in this era that's been very stats-based, that just felt that sometimes people who read stats, they lack context on stats. And I think when you look at stats without watching games, you don't get a full picture. Stats are phenomenal for painting some of that picture and giving you a starting point, but there's nothing quite like seeing that game. And so with so many games going on, it's so hard to keep up, but it's so important.
This is an uncomfortable ball here. We're going to see if there's a wide, but it's not given. It looks like it went maybe just over the leg stump.
I love this from Hamilton and Prasad. Just having a little conversation, having a little joke around. Prasad doing a little bit of chopping with his feet, and that's brought Hamilton all the way forward. And Prasad saying, "Throw it. I'm not in my crease. Throw it here, the non-striker's end." Again, you got to love the gamesmanship. But I think that's the stats part is a great conversation to have about sports just in general, not just cricket.
Oh, now he needs him up, but he skies it. There might be a chance there. He bobbles it. It's thrown in for 2.
Yeah.
What a catch that would have been.
Yeah, never easy, circling back, running back, and did a phenomenal job to get in position. But again, in, out, and never going to be simple for Azim Charania. Never really had it in his hands either.
That was a tough one. He gets up there straight like that, and you're running over your shoulder. We saw him, couldn't see it on the replay there, but we saw him actually spin around to try to get himself in a position for that. Great effort, honestly. He came very close to taking that catch. And right through. Drysdale showing his class right there. Just over the stumps.
Yeah, so good, Drysdale. And again, this is something that you also won't be able to gain through a stat sheet. You won't know what kind of variation someone bowls. You won't know the situations they're bowling in. You won't know, what's the wicket doing. And those, again, things are so important. And again, it goes through all sports. You look at some of the numbers that you speak of. A lot of people talk about Russell Westbrook as this triple-double machine, and he was during those years, but did those result in wins, right? Those are questions that would come through. So you look at stats, and it's just hard to gauge, I think, in my opinion, success and value based on numbers solely alone.
That will be 4 runs. Slashed over extra cover.
And Behar's another great example of it. His stat sheet is going to read 12 from 13 right now, but you talk about 2 boundaries in the context of today's game. That's something that you just don't see. You haven't seen boundaries. We went a period of 10 to 15 overs without a boundary. So his 2 boundaries, while you might say, oh, that's a normal looking score sheet, very valuable. And now he's doing it against not only Azim Chidani and the spinner that was tough to get away early, but then he's doing it against the national team bowler in Janoy Drysdale.
Yeah, there's the trick right there against Drysdale. You have 1 ball left in the innings. He'll try to do it again. And they're going to run this one out. And it looks like they're going to come back as Janoy threw it just over the top of the stumps. May as well. And in an entertaining way, it'll be 120. Target will be 121 when we come back for the second innings.
Yeah, have a second look at this. Funnily enough, I was just watching a cricket compilation this morning of bowlers doing just this, missing the stumps from 2 feet away. And again, sometimes it's better off just to run up and knock off the bails. But you take those runs, the Lions, they get it to a run-up ball, which is about what they did all innings long, thanks to a half century from Mario Prasad and then Rashish Behera. Again, his runs won't look that impressive, but incredibly vital what he was able to put on the board. The Fire, though, they'll feel more than happy with what they've done with the ball. Winning the toss, choosing to bowl first, and doing this to a scorecard. We mentioned the half century from Ram Prasad, 22 from Ronak Sharma. That was the key to the game. That's where the best partnership lasted. but then a string of low scores. Behera showed a bit in the end, but we'll look at that Fire bowling card for the confirmation of how great they were with the spin bowling in hand.
Well, as you said, Amon, only 2 overs of fast bowling, both of those coming from Janoy Drysdale, who looked good. Stephen Taylor got his quota today with a wicket. Sunny Patel was fantastic. Only 1 wicket, probably deserved a couple. Charania showed his class all weekend, and Ansh Patel, Parth Patel both look like excellent young bowlers for this team. And they are spoiled for choice.
No question about it. Well, with the bat, it's been destruction from the Fire, but can the Lions, can they pounce and can they tame that enraging Fire and keep them out of the win column for a 3rd consecutive time? We'll wait and find out. Join us back here at Church Street Park. Start of innings number 2. And runs immediately for Stephen Taylor. Feels like we've said that all day. As Atish Gawand starts the day for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. Nate, it's wickets and wickets early. That's the key for the Lions, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is critical. They got to get these wickets early. Got to get Stephen Taylor out, first of all. And we'll see what Gawand can do. We've seen some great promise from Gawand this weekend.
Yeah, he's been able to get the ball to move away quite a bit, and then showed the variation as well. Beat Monik Patel on the inside, just evaded off stump. And that's something you can do with Sagar Patel. Again, very similar brand of cricketer, very traditional. Likes to play with hands, likes to play away from the body at times. I'm curious to see the approach from the Fire. Are they looking to go all guns a-blazing, have another record-setting power play, or are they just looking to say, look, it's singles, double game, and then we'll take advantage of the odd bad ball?
I think they're going to take what they're given early on. I think, ease their way into it. There's no reason to hurry. Fort Lauderdale's only in this game if they make a lot of mistakes. So I think they'll just take what they're given.
Take the extras as well.
Looks like they're trying to bowl to Stephen Taylor the way we kind of had talked about this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you want to attack him.
Yeah, get the ball to swing back in and go on to someone that can do that. Again, with the field set, there's the deep third and the deep backward square, which makes a lot of sense. And now I like this angle. This is what I was just getting ready to say. Come around the wicket to Stephen. Let him take that stride forward and see if you can trap him in front. That's your goal. Beautifully dug out and exceptionally well fielded. Perfect execution from the Lions.
Stephen Taylor passes up a chance for a single there. You see that throw in was rocket quick. Offline for sure, but the run wasn't as obvious as it looked like. So maybe he made the right choice.
Slip fielder has gone out and has been added into mid-wicket, and it's not a bad shout. Again, with that ball coming in, and now they've sent the long on deep in the third inside the ring. So long on, deep backward square for Taylor against the ball coming back into him. Taken! Stephen Taylor gone for just one, and the plan works. Atish Gawand strikes, and the Lions believe.
Well, just 4 balls into this innings, and they've removed Stephen Taylor. He's only scored 1. And take a look at this. Oh, they went wider with the delivery. Stephen just couldn't get enough of it. And backpedaling, that's not easy to do. He put himself in a tough position, didn't he?
No question, but he's successful in the end. And what we haven't seen from the Fire, a loss of a wicket in the power play. They haven't done it all weekend. 3 for 1. Paul Palmer makes his way at 3. We've seen Viraj Vaghela in at 3 before, but they've elected to go in the form of Palmer. What do you make of that decision?
Well, Paul Palmer's been around a while. I mean, he's a very good cricketer. I think anytime he's in the middle, good things are going to happen for your team.
And I think it's also to help the left-right combination as well. I think they're probably interchangeable, Vaghela and Palmer. If Stephen Taylor were to get out, you bring in the lefty. And then if Sagar Patel goes, you bring in the right-handed Vaghela. Palmer, in his minor league career, averaged just above 27 and a high score of 63. He's a much more talented batter than that. Let's see if he can find the runs behind him today. Excellent. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Go on. He just came up real gimpy. You don't want him to be down. You can see he's just walking a little gingerly at the moment, and he's pointing to a spot at the non-striker's end at the moment. He's still favoring that right leg.
And not liking this crease right now. He's got to run through. And I think you're right. This lefty-righty partnership's going to cause problems. 1 ball to go. Signals the umpire Alvin there.
Down leg. Down leg. Too much movement and too much ball watching as well. We'll come back for a second. But an excellent first over here for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They remove the dangerous Stephen Taylor, 5 for 1. Vinit Degarse, first over of the season. Someone who's really been a staple for the Fort Lauderdale Lions throughout his minor league career and throughout their time in minor league cricket. Nate, he presents a good challenge with the seam up.
Yeah, let's see. As you mentioned, the lefty-righty batting partnership. As Degarse gets his run up down. We got the slip fielder in.
Yeah, big fan of Vinit Degarse. Saw him a couple years back and really got excited about what he could do. Came in the 2022 season, just played the 1 game there, but he's taken 17 wickets across 13 innings at an economy rate under 8. So very productive. And Sagar Patel will face up. Oh, nearly chopped it on. That's what I like about Degarse. There's not a lot of moving parts. He's very simple, solid run through the crease and the arm action. Very easy and replicable.
Yeah, nice fluid action. We see Palmer adjusting his gloves, tie his shoes. So we've had the early breakthrough. Couldn't ask for more for Atlanta, but they need to. The wickets need to keep falling for them.
Yeah, that's why they've gone with that slip fielder, Elton Tucker Jr. station there. They just know they have to be on the aggressive hunt early. And I would like to see that slip fielder really through the power play unless something changes dramatically off the bat of Palmer or Patel. And again, there's another great example. You're just testing Paul Palmer, who would be a bit short of runs, and now he's gimpy. He's limping around. This is right foot that he feels uncomfortable on.
We just saw him tie his shoes.
And it's the 3rd consecutive game now. I was just getting ready to say, bodies would be tight for both sides. And you can see Paul Palmer definitely uncomfortable right now.
We'll spare the non-contact injury conversation here, but we've seen a lot of little bumps and bruises.
Excellent keeping yet again. We've seen that so many times throughout the weekend, whether it's been Mario Rampersad, whether it's been Jamar Hamilton or Christopher Van Tull, Aryan Chenchu, excellence behind the stumps.
Yeah, Mario's good back there, nice and quick. Super Mario. You get that jumping a sound effect again. We really need it on a soundboard here. Amon's making notes right now. What to get next week. Once again, missing down the leg.
Hey, click an A. Getting that jump going is Mario Rampersad. Has to get that line right. The Garcet can't afford to be leaking runs. Not too many to work with. It's just at a run a ball. And now just under it. So make the Fire earn it off the bat without Stephen Taylor at their disposal. Perfect delivery. Ball swinging back in, attacking the pads. That's what you want to see out of the Garcet.
Finally found his line there. Ball swinging early. Sometimes you get those wides when you're trying to reel in your swing. Especially we get the crosswinds here sometimes at Church Street Park, makes it a little less predictable.
Just gives up the single on that occasion, but again, you can see a clear ploy to left-hander looking to attack his pads. And it's so important to get off to a good start with the ball, Nate, because again, whilst we speak about a lack of depth with the bat, with the ball in hand as well, they don't have the seam display that would give you much confidence beyond these two.
Yeah, you're right. So, Tagarce's overs are important. Another good one there.
Yeah, another phenomenal delivery. Sagar Patel, whilst he'll have that score behind him against the Orlando Galaxy, didn't do much against the Raptors yesterday. Never actually looked that settled, did he? Hit the one boundary, but he's someone who likes to take his time, so can take advantage of him early in his innings.
Yeah, and early wickets so important when you're defending a small total, especially against a team like, and we've talked a lot about how good this Atlanta Fire team is, but every single year they have a lot of firepower.
Oh, just to the fielder. Picked out the man to close the second over. 11 for 1. Good to see that Gawan's got a second over. Was curious and concerned about it due to that injury he might have picked up. God, he's been so phenomenal, hasn't he?
Yes. I mean, it proves in the pudding here. I mean, his ability to restrict this potent Atlanta Fire offense, and he's proven himself to be a very valuable member of this Fort Lauderdale team.
And it just makes you wonder, if you had 150, 160 runs on the board, how different this game would feel. It still even feels, with this tremendous start, the Fire are still very much in control of the proceedings. And these dot balls are the way through.
I think with Gawan, what we're seeing here are many options that he has. He's not a one-trick pony. His ability to hit a good length and and to swing it when it's fuller too, I think he's going to give them plenty of options. It puts a lot in the batter's mind.
That's the one that just stays straight on to Sagar Patel. Again, you can see he's unsure and non-committal about where to go, whether forward or back, to the offside, to the onside. And then slip now out with an extra man inserted inside the ring on the onside and backwards square. So that ball going to be angled back in. Left alone in the end. Again, this is the brilliance of Gawan so far. He's hit his areas to absolute perfection.
Yeah, we saw how he set up Stephen Taylor, coming in with the swing, and then staying away. Very kind of Saurabh Netravalkar-ish, but obviously from the right side. But what a good setup that was.
And it just almost feels like this game is on a knife's edge. Does Paul Palmer try something rash in the next couple of deliveries? Well, he's been given a gift. Try the slower one, and has been absolutely dispatched.
Well, that one was thumped right off the walkway, the pathway there. Skipping all the way up the hill. Yes, that was a gift. Amani, we've talked about going to slower balls maybe a little too early at times. You think that was a necessary delivery?
I just didn't love the option. You're bowling incredibly well, and if you're going to go with the slower one, you can't pitch it there. There's the thought of, okay, Paul Palmer might try to do something here. Maybe I try to change it up. But he hasn't been able to even really touch your delivery when this bowling seam up on a length. I feel you've gone to it too soon. Close, very close, very close, probably high. Might be the only thing that saved Paul Palmer. Would love to get a second look, Nate.
You can see it cutting back in there. Maybe high, maybe a little bit high. Boy, that ball went a long way around too.
Plenty of movement, plenty of questions. They do escape with that single, and that's 6 huge for the context of the over. 24-1 after 3. Continuing with Vinit Dagarse, great opportunity here. Even with that 6, you don't reckon Paul Palmer is truly settled. Little misfield. Again, while tremendously stopped to keep it from 4, the Lions can't really afford to give up those ones there.
Well, we saw a lot of good smothering at point position from Atlanta Fire in the first innings. Preventing an awful lot of runs. If you're going to bobble it, keep it right in front of you so you can reach down and grab it.
And again, with 140, 150, 160 on the board, the Lions would be in real position here. I just think with that 120, they've done themselves a real disservice the way they've bowled so far. Excellently carved, perfectly placed, and 4 runs for Sagar Patel.
Great shot from Sagar as he steps up the pace. As you said, he likes to ease his way in. Maybe he feels like he's there right now. That was a very good shot.
A touch over pitched, and that's in Sagar Patel's scoring zones. Against pace, he loves going through cover.
Well, if you're going to ease into the innings, I mean, he got some help there from that ball.
No question about it. Again, DeGarcia just trying to get one to tail back in. So now just an adjustment in the field. Long off has gone back and third stays in the ring. I actually don't mind it to keep that long off fielder in the deep, given Sagar Patel and where he likes to score. Again, with the ball tailing back in, you've given yourself an opportunity to hit the stumps. Even there, Sagar Patel's front foot wasn't with the bat. He's played away from his body, so you're looking to expose that gap. He's just got to find the right length, and here to Garce.
Yeah, the right length and the right shape will do the job.
Better length. There. That's a better area. Maybe get it back towards off stump, but from there, you've brought everything into play.
Yeah, Mon, once again, you called it. He went directly for the gap there, trying to get it through the gate.
And this is where if the Garza can slip one that moves away, challenge the outside half of the bat with Patel playing for the in-swinger. We'll bring in Elson Tucker Jr. at first slip. Oversteps, and that is a cardinal sin that the Lions can ill afford.
And he looks down at the crease. Yeah, I think it might have moved a little bit.
Every bowler thinks the Lions move. There's no way you've missed, and I think for the Garza in your second over, having built up some real pressure, you've now given Sagar Patel a free license to pick you apart.
Yeah, and he saw Sagar Patel play at that and miss it. It would have been a dot ball.
Gonna come back for two. Survives. But again, that no ball just really killed that over. Even after the boundary, the Lions were, I still think, ahead in the over, given the fact that they still had pressure placed upon the batter.
You said it looked like they were trying to set up Patel here. Now they'll do this last ball without a slip in place.
Love the energy from Ram Prasad as always, commanding the ship here, checking all angles. Where was first slip? Where was first slip? That's an insult to injury. You move him, and he's picked that gap, 4 runs.
We just mentioned they moved the slip out of the way. That was right where Elton Tucker was standing on the prior ball, and that just relieved a little bit of pressure for Patel.
End of over 4, 32 for 1. Mohib Siddiqui. First signs of spin from Fort Lauderdale. And Nate may be the swaggiest spinner we've got.
You gotta love the backwards hat. This is like every 90s kids film. Everybody had the backwards hat on. I'd like to see him, add to it, wear a unbuttoned flannel. I think that would really add to the look. Or put it around the waist.
I'm not sure that and cricket go together, the flannel. The backward hat for sure goes. I'm not sure the flannel does. Well worked from Paul Palmer. Fielder at mid-wicket, and they still come back for a second. Excellent running.
Great stuff. You see some fans just enjoying the beautiful day here at Church Street Park.
Yeah, beautiful to get some folks in here, even on a Monday. Remember, Labor Day Monday. Happy Labor Day to everyone watching. Excellently placed. Paul Palmer, he's starting to find real rhythm. 4 more.
Great little sweep shot there. You see the authority, the conviction he strikes that ball. Very decisive. Look at this is just how comfortable it is here. You can just hang out, you can just relax.
Yeah, no question about it. It's a great place to be, Church Street Park. And we always love getting a chance to be out here, and we'll have to wait one more week to be here.
Put them on. In the meantime, we'll have our live show Wednesday night, MLC Network. What are we going to shoot for, 9 o'clock, 9:30?
Yeah, we'll do a 9 p.m. Eastern time start, so whenever you can, join us. 6 p.m. out there on the West Coast, 8 p.m. Central time. Wrap up what's been an impressive week and an unbelievable weekend of minor league cricket. And there's still action happening all across the country, not just here in the South. We've got games, really a lot of games out on the West Coast. They've got a busy Monday, no question about it.
Tune in Joe Hickey out there.
No slip, no third, and no chance to stop it and keep it from 4.
And you can see the late hack catching the top edge, but he got enough on it to run it all the way to the boundary.
Close of over 5, it's 43 for 1.
We will start the final over of the power play. Always interesting. Rashesh Behera with the ball. Who got away with one there. Looked like it took the shoulder of the bat.
I'm such a fan of Behera. Again, we mentioned the first innings. He's just got this grit about him, and he executes a plan, very confident in his plan, and to his credit, he's provided a lot of challenges. Again, was pummeled by Monik Patel, but that was after a drop chance. You talk about what he just did to Paul Palmer. Talk about the wickets he took in the first game for the Fort Lauderdale Lions against the Morsel Raptors. And then when he was here with the Morsel Raptors a couple of years ago, when he's played out with the DC franchise in years previous, he's always just had this handy little knack for being effective.
3 top American cricketers in the mix right now with Behera, Sagar Patel, and Paul Palmer. This is can't miss stuff. And just a dot.
He gets a little bit of extra bounce, doesn't he, Nate? You don't expect it really, and you can see times when folks try to climb into a short ball, they're just never on top of it.
Yeah, he and his brother, very strong individuals. Some width there, slapped past the catching cover. 4 runs.
Nearly fell to the ploy. Slower ball with that cover fielder in place, and Patel's just hit it wide of that man. It's a definite ploy from Behera that's nearly worked out, but that's your risk reward. 4 runs for Patel.
Full and wider. Definitely something's happening on that ball. You're either going to get a boundary, you might edge it straight up, you might hit it right into the fielder's hands. We mentioned Russia's his brother, Ritwik, who's played here plenty of times. We've seen him fall for that ploy a couple of times.
Love the changes of pace Behera presents. Again, that's a cutter dug into the wicket that's just taken its time to get to Patel. And really, given the line, could have easily lifted it over fine leg. But because of how slow the delivery was in getting to him, he turned around and nearly chopped it back on. So again, Behera, he commits to a plan, but he's got so many tools up his repertoire.
Yeah, we're seeing that seems to be a theme here with the Fort Lauderdale fast bowlers. Options. Oh, and that one's cut for 4 runs. That one got there in a hurry.
Yeah, that's the one that just got away from Behera. Too short, too wide, too easy. There was never going to be a fielder that was in play there. Seam up, and just had to guide it nicely all along the carpet, Sagar Patel.
All Sagar Patel had to do there was throw his hands at that. Didn't have to do much thinking.
Plenty of kids around, and the Lightning hats as the Lightning were here this weekend, and plenty enjoyed the action they put on display, especially Captain Monang Patel.
So the final ball of the power play, we said this needed to be a good one. And it just ends with a single. Atlanta Fire 53 with a loss of 1. They only need 68 runs. Siddiqui stays in, and I was trying to style him earlier. He's already got the sports jersey, backwards hat. He just needs a flannel, some baggy jeans.
Maybe off the field, then. Maybe off the field we can get him that attire.
And that's just 1 run on the back foot. Plenty of time there for Sagar Patel.
Yeah, what you want to do with Sagar Patel is almost tempt him to play that sweep. He's so impulsive on the sweep shot, and it's been a shot that he's gotten the fruits of that labor, but he's also been exposed on that shot. So it's high risk, high reward, and he's always willing to take that risk. So for me, that's what I'm after. I need wickets if I'm the Lions.
Another easy single. This one full to Palmer.
Nate, the longer this game starts to drag out, the further and further the Lions' chances of winning it goes. They need wickets in a hurry. They need to carve into this middle order fast.
Well, they haven't gotten a wicket. They only got the 1 wicket, and that they haven't gotten that one since back in the first over on the 4th ball. Oof.
Better. That's the length I want to operate as Sagar Patel. Just move that to stumps. Again, very handsy and very impulsive, and playing lofted cover drives and those sweeps. Bait him into one.
He goes down on a knee, and he hammers this. It's going to fall just shy of the boundary for 4.
He's picked the gap perfectly there, Sagar Patel. He had the long off, had the deep cover, got it full, wide, and again, just opens the hand slightly to lift it away from Melton Tucker Jr.
When you like to see him going with the delivery too, lower risk that way. The ball's wider. Go to the offside with it. He has enough power to get it out there just short of the boundary. Now you see the fielder staying put. And he flicks this one easily for a single to get out of danger.
Again, that's just smart cricket. You hit the boundary, get one, get off strike, watch from the other end, especially with a low total on the board. Don't let the wickets fall. Don't let the dot balls pile up. You've got plenty of time to go about this chase, and they're not really asking any questions, the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
That one's going to be at least one. They're going for two, and they get there pretty easily. The throw once again sailing clear over the keeper, and that two will wrap up the 7th over. 59 needed. Atlanta Fire 62 for 1. Nahal in the attack now. We've seen a lot of Nahal this weekend, both sides of the ball. Very important role for this team. We still have Elton Tucker without overs yet. Might get into him soon.
You would think he would get in soon. Again, another one of those spinners that they can use here, the Lions. Nahal, we've talked about it all weekend. He's their wild card, not just domestic, but their wild card period, taking that role over from Dajnaran Chandrapal.
Whew.
And he has been impressive with the ball, to his credit, what he's been able to do from his very tall frame. Gets plenty of dip. It reminds me a lot of Obis Pinar with the ball in hand.
Yeah, that dipping from that height. Sagar throws his hands at it, and it travels. What a shot. That'll be 6 from Sagar Patel.
Full, wide, long off is 2 straight, and Sagar Patel says, thank you very much.
And you see Sagar didn't move his feet too much on that one. It was very wide, very full, but he still catches enough of it. Risky, kind of, not stepping towards it, but he hit it where it needed to go.
Yeah, he's just been phenomenal. Sagar Patel, again, he can just ease into so many different gears. He was a late announcement of a signing by the Atlanta Fire, and you see why they've gone about and getting him from the Lightning.
And that's just a dot ball, eats him up a little bit. You see that hump in the ball from Nahal, straight up and down, like a 12-6 curveball, Mike Mussina style.
Again, plenty of revolutions on it. That's why he gets that immense amount of dip. Think about what Ansh Patel does as well. It's very similar. Throws it up and then it gets down very quickly.
Oh, what a ball. Well handled by Patel.
It's curious to see that the wicket hasn't tired up as much as we thought. You know, coming into the second innings, we thought maybe there's an opportunity for the wicket to be incredibly turny. And rather, it's played very nicely, very even.
Yeah, that one's a little flatter there from Nahal.
Give a lot of credit to the grounds crew here, headed by Lance. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He was the one who actually made the decision to come off of the wicket they were using in the past couple of days because there was a piece taken out of it. And he says, you know what, I want to just give it the time to relax, and I feel comfortable with this wicket.
Who looked like it was going down leg, and the umpire agrees. And that'll wrap up the 8th over. And take a look at this replay.
Yeah, it started too far down the leg side. Continued to go with the arm. Good shot, though. You just want to create some pressure. Close of 8, 68 for 1.
You see the lunch coming in, it looks like.
Getting to be about that time, just before 2 o'clock. And the Lions, they need a restart and a refuel. Maybe the food will do it for them because they are in a spot of bother. They don't want to go winless on the weekend. 53 runs left to get for the Fire.
Elton Tucker's first ball is looks like it's gonna go for 4 runs.
Just stuck in the hand from Elton Tucker Jr. Not the way you want to start your day. We saw Sling Patel take a wicket on a ball very similar, but more often than not, you're going to get pummeled, and that got the punishment it deserved.
Just too short there. Just a reaction from Palmer to smash that. More full there. Maybe helped around for 1. Elton Tucker Jr. made it all the way to, I believe, selection consideration in the U19 team in 2021. He was very good in that national championship for the South region.
It was phenomenal. Again, that left arm spin is such a deep roll, and to stand out amongst a really tremendous group of left arm spinners that would have featured a Vatsal Vagela, would have featured an Ali Sheikh at that point as well. It's an impressive feat. There's no question about it, and he's got loads of talent.
Yeah, he was absent in the first 2 from the 11, but he's been included today. Happy to see. Flighted, edged back to third man. It's just going to be a dot ball. That's a great delivery there from Elton. He's challenging the batters with those types of deliveries.
Yeah, no question. And again, the length there was spot on.
And there's an appeal for bottom edge caught, but Alvin's not moving, much to the dismay there of Mario.
My oh my. Sagar Patel gave a shake of the head as well, but look at Mario Ramprasad. He is adamant that this has come off something.
Mario beside himself right there. He knows how important this wicket is.
Let's have a second look here, Nate. Did this come off of anything? Hard to tell on the naked eye. Very tough to tell. Again, Mario was immediately up. He thought he heard a sound. Didn't hear anything from here.
Straight down the ground for a single. And Elton seems to have found his way after the first ball 4.
Yeah, important for him to continue to grow and develop. He's played a couple of years of minor league cricket, given few opportunities, and so this is a good opportunity for him to just make a name. If he can take a couple of wickets here, he can become a mainstay in this 11 and carve out a role for himself.
Palmer goes for the sweep shot. He sweeps all through it. That's the end of the 9th over. Atlanta, 74, loss of 1. Oman, we're in these middle overs, these spin overs here at Church Street Park. How important is having a lefty and righty in the middle for you when you've got to decide what kind of spin you're going to go with?
Yeah, it becomes so crucial, right? So much of this T20 game in the modern day is matchup based, and you've got to win your matchup. So oftentimes you won't see off spinners operating to right-handers. You won't see the left arm spinners or the leggies operating to left-handers. So it just becomes a headache as a captain.
Flighted, but it's wide. It's going to go behind the batter.
And for me, it shows which bowlers the captain truly has faith in. Because as a bowler, it shouldn't matter if you got a righty or a lefty. You should be able to back your stuff. And does the captain back you outside of your favorable matchup?
Cut there, racing to the boundary. See if the fielder can stop it just in time, and he slides and he knocks it over the rope.
It felt like the fielder there was in two minds, wasn't he? He was initially going to go and commit to the full fronted dive, and then almost said, "Oh, I can just get a nice little ride here out on the boundary rope." But instead, he just did a mix of both and didn't get the best of both worlds, and knocks it over.
When we talk about length in cricket a lot, good length, short, full. That was Uncle Stop length right there on the boundary. That's that halfway. You don't know whether to slide or not. And that's why you see guys using their feet. And this one's going to split the fielders and run, but they'll chase it down for just 2.
Yeah, and going back to that conversation about spinners and righties and lefties, I think that's where you get your great spinners. And I think of Rashid Khan. No captain's worried about the left-hander on strike with Rashid Khan having the ball in hand. Noor Ahmed not worried about the righty. I think that's where you see your best T20 bowlers, when captains aren't afraid to throw them in different matchups.
And Akil Hussain for the most part as well. Played once again. This is going to challenge the boundary rider. He'll get it plenty of time this time. Throw it in for 2. But yeah, as you said, when you've got the ability to move the ball both directions, it doesn't really matter if you can do it at a high rate both directions. Minor league here, it matters a little bit more as some of these younger players develop. They haven't quite got the ball that turns away as well, maybe.
And that's where Adam Khan for the Lions in years past was really impressive, because the captain would throw it to him, both righties and lefties.
Looks a little high there. There's an appeal, but nothing.
And so that's when you start to see spinners really become valuable. That's where Nash Kenjige's and Hassan Khan's, where Harmeet Singh's, you're not worried about the righties and lefties for them. Adam Khan has now started to fit into that mold.
Played away to long on. There's one more delivery in the over. Thanks to the wide to start. And this will be the final ball of the first 10 overs. We are 3/4 away into the game and only need 37 from the back 10.
Yeah, it's been a very productive day for the Fire. Productive weekend. They're going to cruise their way, barring something ridiculous, to 3 wins and 3 easy wins, Nate. And getting back to that dominating presence after missing the playoffs altogether in 2024. They've come back with a vengeance. Close of 10 overs is 84 for 1, just 37 to get. Join us in a bit when we return after a quick drinks break for the players. Back 10 underway. Elton Tucker Jr.'s got the ball in hand. And the full toss is wasted by Sagar Patel, who's quietly moved to 47. Nate, he's done it in a real nonchalant way.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty effortless so far.
No slip. No slip, so easily guided down for a couple of runs. Remarkably, Sagar Patel hasn't gotten 100 in minor league cricket. I would have thought he had, but he's only gotten a couple of 50s to his name, and he's one away from adding a 5th 50 to his name.
32 innings from Sagar Patel. Lots and lots of experience here. He's closing in on the 1,000. He's got 818 runs, so if he has a good season this year, we could see him get to 1,000 runs.
Yeah, again, it wouldn't be far-fetched given the fact that he's already got a big score to his name. He can add a couple more to those, and again, it's just less than 200 runs to get, and for someone of his caliber, averaging 30, you almost expect it from him.
Well, he only needs one more for that 50. As you mentioned, it's been kind of a quiet one. How he has shown signs of willing to take risks in this innings.
Trying to prompt him into one now. Slip in place. Long on inside the ring. Sagar Patel on 49. Ooh, I think Alvin Barnett thought about it for a second, but elected against it in the end.
Hell, how about that?
That time the hands have to come up. It's not for the third time we've seen Elton Tucker get the ball stuck. That's something he's got to get out of his game.
If you're going to get it stuck like that, miss so wide that nobody can put a bat on it, that's what I say. Otherwise, that's pretty easily at least 4.
Outside of those, though, Tucker's bowled brilliantly. And what a moment this is. A 50, a 5th minor league 50 for Sagar Patel. Saw his captain depart in the very first over, and he's taken the stable, mature approach and a late bat raise and acknowledgement for the man who's made his way to the other Atlanta side. He's now cashed in with a half-century.
Well, one of the better-known domestic batters in the USA over the last decade or so. Sagar Patel with a half-century. Well-deserved. They didn't have to do anything spectacular here to close this gap, and he's done his job.
More extras to follow. Paul Palmer will feel disappointed because that's an area of strength for him. So good on the sweep and saw a fine leg in the ring. Just had to pat it away. But just 32 runs left to get. Didn't connect very well. Was connected well enough for a couple of extra runs.
Here we see Elton Tucker Jr. just missing. A little bit loose here this over after a pretty solid one a couple of overs ago.
Wow. Just on the back foot in a flash and lifted. Picks up 4 to close out this Tucker over. Runs for Paul Palmer.
Oh, you can see that is a pretty shot. You see how he got some good height over the circle on that cut. That is an expert shot right there. End of the 11th, 95 for 1. And Nahal will continue. That fought off the hip there easily by Patel, he's just taking what he's been given today.
And he hasn't had to do very much. And it's, again, just about taking advantage of this couple loose deliveries. They haven't been bogged down by dot balls. And we said in the first innings, you just felt that the Lions were 30 runs short to even make it a game. You were never really competing with 120 on the board. Unless you got early wickets, they got the one, but Sagar Patel made sure they never got a second. Bat, helmet, square leg, 1 run. Interesting deflection.
Yeah, we've seen some ping pong here, but that just goes in and then he falls over.
You got to love the gamesmanship here from the Atlanta Fire. He's telling the physio, stay out, stay out. I've seen it hit me in the face.
Maybe a little dizzy from that.
24 runs left. And again, there's that sweep we've talked about. Once Sagar Patel reaches the mark he feels he should, it comes out very early, very quickly, and can result in his demise.
Just goes to show you the discipline he's had up until now. People like to fall in love with a shot and can't wait to get to it.
Turns it around the corner. And talk about falling in love with a shot. He would be playing that into the wind as well. There's just a couple of big gusts that would be going from the right to left of your screen. Fielders in place, a backward square, so plenty of risk involved with that.
Relatively little cost if it fails, considering there's only 22 runs needed off of over 8 overs.
100 on the board for the Atlanta Fire. Cruising at this point to victory. Big partnership for wicket number 3.
Now we talked about Sagar Patel doing his job. Paul Palmer's been very good as well. 34 from 25. Really not been threatened. Hall's going to bowl around the stumps, coming from a strange angle for Palmer.
Close of over 12, 100 for 1. .21 runs left to go get. Elton Tucker Jr. has his third. And Nate, there's plenty of action going on this Labor Day. Couple of enticing battles going on up on the east, and especially right now, the Somerset Cavaliers and the Stallions. Those two teams would be locked in for playoff positioning. The Stallions need 14 runs from 8 deliveries with Anirudh Emanuel and Stephen Wigg out in the middle, and Najaf Shah bowling a over. Won't bowl the final over, but he's got 19 in his hand. You'll have to keep a close eye on that one, Nate.
Oh, I love that.
Inside edge, just a touch of unfortune there. There's also a couple of other games that have kicked off across the country. You look at Kings 11 Dallas taking on the Michigan Cricket Stars. There's a bit of a hold-up in play after... Actually, it says the Kings 11 Dallas has won that game. Now, we'll wait for official confirmation.
That's a great delivery there from Elton Tucker Jr.
Good opportunity for him to continuously move and gain some experience. And the Philadelphians, they're in action today against the New York City Titans. Nicely stopped. Keeps it to a dot ball. Couple of 30s, Ryan Scott 34, Aditya Ganesh 32, and a Bhaskar Yadram Love to see him with the 40 off of just 28. He's a special cricketer, Nate.
Oh yes, we can't rave enough about Bhaskar Yadram, having seen him explode here at Church Street Park.
Safe, yes, just safe. Elton Tucker Jr. thought he had a wicket, his first wicket of the day, but it just falls just short of a running short third.
Oof, that was quite a ball from Elton Tucker Jr. We've seen a great over from him so far as he recovered from a little bit of a rocky second over. Now, if they can keep Atlanta off the board for the next 7 balls, we might see another Elton Tucker Jr. over.
Just a couple of bounces out to long gone. Fumbles, but just the one. 104 for one.
Heading into the 14th over here, Atlanta only need 17 runs to win this game. I can't wait for our live show on Wednesday. Minor League Cricket Live, 9 Eastern Time, MLC Network on YouTube. We'll talk about the games, we'll talk about the standout players, and we're going to talk about probably our favorite category, which is the Emerging Player of the Week. Aman, you got any early favorites for that?
Hard to look past Sahir Bhatia, the young leg spinner up in the East as a member of the New York City Titans. He had a 4 for just a day ago, and now he's got another one to his name. 4 for 35 across 4 overs, and a real display as a leg spinner. You love to see young leg spinners. We rave about Yasser Mohammed and Adam Khan, and now we might need to throw more of Sahir Bhatia to the list.
He did that against Bhaskar Yadram and company. Ryan Scott, that Philadelphians team, looks really good. Cornet Dry captaining that team this season. Used to play for the Atlanta Fire. We've seen some great stuff from him here at Church Street Park.
Titans are trying to throw their hat in the ring into playoff contention. You consider the East and who are the teams that are historically competing. The Stallions, for one. The Titans were part of the playoffs in year 1.
Boy, were they good.
They were phenomenal with that team. It's a whole new look now, but they'll be competing against the Somerset Cavaliers. And then you talk about the Philadelphians. So the Titans want to throw their hat and make it a 4-horse race.
A couple of those in the middle right now. Paul Palmer, Mario involved in the East quite a bit.
What a sweep from Sagar Patel. Won't connect all the way for 4, but comes back for 2.
Sagar just continues to compile. As you mentioned, him loving that sweep shot. We're starting to see it now. Only 14 needed.
And a former Fort Lauderdale Lions in action today. Wow. Wow, Sagar Patel. Just a real pickup off the legs, 6 runs.
Aaron Jones style there. The slog sweep, he caught every piece of that. Look how effortless this is. Boom. What a shot.
And it's the biggest for him today, straight on to the little wall that outlines Church Street Park. Yeah, the Fort Lauderdale Lion in action, Achilles Brown for the LA Lashings. He's had maybe a little bit of a rough weekend in terms of where he's been hit with the ball with the bat in hand. There's ones where he was getting thrown back at and got hit in the back of the leg, and then tried to play a little bit of a innovative stroke and got hit on the high thigh. Had a good laugh with him on Instagram about it last night, but he's in good spirits, looking for a couple of big scores as the Lashings there in action currently against the San Ramon Grizzlies. They're 26 for 2 with Zayed Sakil, one of their big acquisitions, and Kristen Kalichudran currently in the middle, and Ayan Desai taking wickets against his former side. 1 for 13 through 2 overs is him.
Well, you mentioned a name that we know quite well here in Morrisville, Kalicharan.
Well, it's 1 hit away now for the Atlanta Fire. One delivery left in the 14th. Maybe we'll get a 15th over.
If it goes.
Oh, well, here we go. Paul Palmer. He would know what that scoreboard says. Wants to help the net run rate even more.
And it looks like he's going to end the game right there with a huge 6. Paul Palmer showing all kinds of aggression. Finally, an Atlanta Fire chased this down with 6 overs to spare. Sagar Patel, brilliant, 67 from 52. Paul Palmer, just as good, 43 from 30. And they made this a quick one.
No question about it. They were absolutely clinical with the ball in hand in that first innings, and then with the bat. After a nervy start, losing Stephen Taylor, they displayed complete domination, and you could see it all on the players as they walk off the field. 9-wicket win for the Atlanta Fire. Again, that batting card tells you the story. Nervy start with Stephen Taylor going for 1, but a 50 from Sagar Patel and an unbeaten 43 from Paul Palmer led the way and confirms what was another day of domination for the men in red and black.
Bowling wasn't too bad for Fort Lauderdale Lions. They have something to look forward to in the future, with Gawand looking excellent with taking the lone wicket of Stephen Taylor. Everybody else going at about 9 and over. I thought we saw some good stuff from Elton Tucker Jr. at times. 3 overs from 21 runs from 3 overs. Didn't see a lot of fast bowling at all today in either innings. We saw plenty of spin, and boy, did Atlanta show that they know how to handle it.
No question. And that is all she wrote from this weekend. Nate, somehow 8 games, 5 days have flown by. We thank you guys for tuning in every single day and joining us at every adventure at Church Street Park. That wraps up a wonderful Labor Day weekend. For myself, Patel, for Nate Hayes, for Bobber Begg, and our entire production team, we thank you all for joining us. Enjoy your Labor Day, and we can't wait to see you again.